Been a scholar that your baby mama fond of. I ain't talking grammar when I say I'm seeing commas. Life is a bitch, but I cheat on her with karma. The plug, I be making deals with the farmer. Martyrs in armor, ready to go farther. Look at prison kids not knowing I'm the father. I'm the main reason niggas don't wanna have daughters. Racks.
From the South Loop of Chicago, part of the Beyond Air Network, it's WindyCityUnderground.com. Your music, your station.
Hey, it's Danaya Azure, and this is Danaya Azure Radio. Oh my goodness, they got the mics fixed. I am so excited right now. Hold on. Gotta pull it down, because the mics are working right. Yay! Super excited. So I have the fabulous Cassandra Bell is in the building, you guys. OMG, hello, queen. How are you?
How you doing?
Yes. Oh my. So Cassandra has been in the industry for years, since you were a teenager, correct?
Oh God, yes. Since I think before, yeah. Long time.
And she still looks absolutely fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. I tried to moisturize.
Yes, definitely. You know, like I met Cassandra on Facebook a while back, and I think I reached out to you regarding, I forget if it was the show or if it was for the movie.
I cannot remember. I think it was for a magazine.
Okay, that's what it was. All right. Yeah, and so we started talking, and then she told me she had this. She had told me she had this movie coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would love to be involved, and so she called me, and we shot September Rain, and it was so dope because I love working with incredible people. I found so many phenomenal girls that were on set, and it was such a beautiful experience. The thing that I love about that movie specifically was the message behind it. So I think the one question everyone wants to know is, how did you get into that?
You know, the crazy thing about September Rain, so we're really not finished with it. I have to do another edit on it. So a lot of people are calling me and asking me questions about that. So I have to do another edit on it. If anybody know anything about filmmaking, it just sometimes I just want to do an alternative ending. And so the story of September Rain was really inspired by some of the things that are going on in this city with women. How I first got the inspiration was I went to the Spike Lee Chirac premiere. Okay. And Spike was talking, and it was like, he was like right there, and I was like, is he talking to me? He talking to me. And so what he said was, he says, listen, I'm not from Chicago, I'm from the Bronx, I'm from New York, and when I had issues that were going on with my city, it's not my responsibility to create a story about your city. It's your responsibility to create a story about your city. Right. And so he was like, I challenge all filmmakers to put their voice in on this movement that's going on with Chicago.
Absolutely.
So I was like, wow, there's nobody doing it for the girls. I was like, so let me create this film that really addressed some of the issues that were going on with women, particularly here, and the different issues that we have as women, as young urban women here in the city of Chicago. So I put together, I call it my dream cast of amazing queens that came in and gave their time and their talents to create this amazing project, which was called September Rain. And I just want to send shouts out to Naomi Padilla, Siobhan Ballard, my daughter Ashley Epps, Lana J. I just saw her yesterday in her rap career. She's so awesome. Who else I'm missing? Joyce E. Brantley, and I think that's all of them. I said them all.
It was, and it was so powerful because that's the one thing people don't talk about. People don't talk about what the girls go through and how prevalent it is with the girls and violence.
Right. I think, and that's the funny thing is, so, I've got, I have a lot of great reviews on September Rain, but I think I have a lot of concerns with the violence that's here in Chicago.
Absolutely.
And it kind of, my, movie was pretty violent. I think few people had issues with the fact that the girls were lagoons. But
that's real.
But it's our reality. Thing. Like, people underestimate the power of women in Chicago when it comes to some criminal things. And so, but the movie wasn't promoting that. The movie was really promoting raising awareness of mental health.
Yes.
And what happens when you have post-traumatic stress disorders and it goes unchallenged. So that was really what the focus was. But, I guess the girls was just a little too sexy and too hot.
Is that what it was?
And so they brought a lot of extra focus on it. But I'm still, I'm still excited about September Rain. I'm still pushing it. I just have to do an edit on it. So I'm not releasing it. I'm holding it until I get it the way that I 100% want it to be.
Yes.
And then I'll release it, brother.
Definitely. Because you've been doing plays for years, right?
Ooh, yes. Oh, Lord. And it's crazy because it's funny that I just had this conversation with John because he was like, how you going to retire from plays? Because a lot of people don't know I've actually retired from doing plays. I do plays for other people, but I haven't done anything for myself.
Right.
So my major focus right now is film. Once not to say, so I'll say this, I don't want people to say, I'm not a shady lover. I love theater.
Okay.
I love theater, okay? But I am right now in love with film. Yeah. So I have some amazing film projects that I'm so excited about that's coming out. And I'm, 2019 is going to be amazing for your girl. I got I'm bringing the heat. I'm bringing a lot of heat. As they say, my bell's going to be ringing for 2019. I'm so excited to work with the the people that I'm working with. I'm being a little secretive because I kind of just want to drop hot,
right,
as they say, drop hot. And so, but I am working on an amazing production called The Survivor Monologue.
Yes, please talk about that.
Yeah, with Latrice Mosley Smith, and I'm so excited for her. She's the executive producer. She came to me and she told me about this story that's a true story for her, and she asked me, would I be interested in, partnering up with her and collaborating and writing her story. But once we started investigating, we realized that her story was really historical
Yes.
Issue that we are facing as not just women, but society is facing as a whole when it comes to domestic violence.
Yes.
I mean, it's rampant right now, and it's not a rich thing or a poor thing or a black or white thing. It's a society thing, and it's happening to men, women, and children. And so we created this amazing production. It's about an hour and 30 minutes that pretty much bring home creatively and artistically this mission of domestic violence, the search for the cure, because it is a disease.
Yes,
it is a disease on domestic violence.
It is, and especially, when we talk about Dr. Danielle and what happened with that situation.
Yes.
And what got me was the people that had the audacity to say, well, she should have gave the ring back. Seriously?
And see, and
really?
The crazy thing is that people think that it's people wanna put things in a box, okay, and not realizing that if she would have gave the ring back, it would have been something else.
Right.
It wasn't about the ring, because if that's the case, he could have killed the ring.
Right.
The reality was domestic violence is a narcissistic issue. It's about controlling the person, and when the person feels as though they have lost that control, they make a decision which is a total selfish decision to take your life away from this world and this universe. And it's way more serious than possessions and things like that. It's way more serious, and it's sad that that people are victim shaming someone who lost their life and some other victims who lost their lives over what? Because I don't love you anymore because you are being mean and abusive to me. Right. It's like you want to stifle my voice, and that's incredibly sad. Incredibly sad.
And it's interesting that, like, even in this time, it's 2018, we're still having this conversation. Right. It's 2018, we're still talking about the fact that, it was XYZ. You already know there are signs. You already know that, like I said, I think they said, like, she was calling one of her friends already knew why he was there. They knew something was wrong, because he's not supposed to be there, because he's supposed to be gone. Like, what are you doing at work right now?
Right.
And so it's just sad that people think that it's okay to be like, oh, well, she should have just given the ring back, or they could have taken care of it differently. Apparently, the reason that she broke up with him was because he was controlling. Then, when it got to the point where he just didn't think that he knew he didn't have the control anymore, he got mad.
Right.
And then he took other people's lives outside of that. They had nothing to do with it.
And I think a lot of times what people have to fail to realize is that domestic violence is not an ABC issue. It's not a white or black issue. It's not as simple as that. that man came to die that day.
Yes.
And people have to realize that he came to die.
Yes.
He knew that you came to a public place with weapon. I mean, he was prepared.
Yeah.
He was just like any other terrorist.
Yes.
You know, they came in and he was like, today is going to day that I'm going to wreak terror on this community, and I'm going to take this person and person's life. Because if it was just about him and her, then why run?
Right.
You know, why go through the hospital and start shooting at random victims? You had already accomplished your goal.
Yeah.
So why did you continue on with the rampage? So it's not, you know, we as a society, we need to become more woke. We need to realize that things are not simple comments.
Right.
You know, or mean comments. It's never a reason why someone commits a crime. It's not a reason, it's a simple decision.
Yep.
You know, like any other act of violence or terrorism in this country. So it's so sad, so sad. And as we, you know, explore, you know, when I went and did the research, I went all the way back to biblical times on domestic violence. Like I went back, like all the way back to Egyptian times. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
I mean, there is so much evidence. It just didn't start in current society. It goes all the way back and back and back and back, and I'm just like, wow, you know.
Right. I think one thing that I think caused is the fact that there was a misconception that women are property, and so as opposed to being treated as an equal, they were treated as property, and that means you can treat them however you want to, and that's, you know, and it's sad that we still have this mentality. That's the caveman thinking. It's
just you know what, and I'm gonna say this, and it may not be politically correct, but that's what Cassandra. She's not always politically correct. You have to realize that men treat their cars better than their women.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say it. Hell.
Hey, no, you're good.
So you have things that men value. They value their friendships over their women in some relationships.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So they're not even treating us like property. They're treating us like dirt under their fingernails. You know what I'm saying? So, because some property they value.
Very true.
So, you know, it's just that women have not been considered equal in many areas, and then we have always been the butt of frustration because you beat or you harass something. The closest thing to you is because I can, because I'm there, and because I'm there. But I think that we as women, and I this is not, because when you look at the holistic point of domestic violence, it's not just physical. It's psychological, it's financial, you know, it's spiritual. There are so many times when you go back in your life and you say, wow, you know, things that you didn't even consider abuse were abusive. Mm-hmm. So when you go on and you're living with this cycle, and it's the gift that keeps giving of abuse, it becomes normal to you.
Yeah.
And so now you're normalizing something that's not normal. You're rationalizing something that's irrational, and you're making it's okay because it's okay. But we have to say that it's not okay. And it's not okay. And it's like, no shade, ladies. Some of the ladies a little abusive too, because you bring the baggage with you. Somebody beat you, and now you get a nice guy, and now you're beating on the nice guy, or you're beating on your children. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
It's a really bad cycle. I'm glad you said that, because it's not like, it's not about man shaming. It's about people not understanding, period.
Yeah.
That it is not okay to put your hands on someone else out of frustration. That's not what you do. And, you know, and then it becomes a situation where, there's no reason for a guy to hit a girl. But, you know, if they're defending themselves, you know, that's another
But
thing.
the current trend for the millennials and the centennials is that the girls are violent.
Yes.
So the girl, I've had so many boys come to me and say, you know, they'll say, Miss Bell, you know, I'm trying to talk to her, and she hit me upside my head, and she won't stop until I hit her back, and then when I hit her back, we're okay. A lot of teens, and they say, you know, that
doesn't even make sense.
But that's their love language. So you have to realize, like. It's crazy. Like, you go online, like, because I've done all this research, right? So you go online and you have teens, and I've talked to teens, and I'm like, and I've talked to like girls and guys and the guys would say, Miss Bell, who started the argument? And the girl would say, I started the argument. And I said, well, how'd you start the argument? Well, I called him this and I called him that. And I was like, well, why are you talking to him like that? And he's like, because that's just, And I said, well, how do you feel when he talks to you like that? And they was like, well, I don't have no problem with being this, because that's what I am. I'm a B. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a this. You know what I'm saying? So when the guys say, look, thotty hotty, they like, in a more aggressive and a more, different way, that's their norm. That's their love language. They, like, I had a girl say to me, I don't want to be made love to.
Wow.
I don't want all that tenderness. What is that? I don't want that. And I'm like, girl. And she's like, I want this and I want this and I want him to beat me like he's sending me to jail. I'm like,
okay, wait. Okay. I am
young.
I don't understand it, because like I guess I just was raised different. I was raised, if a guy ever puts their hands on you, make sure that's the last thing they hit and they don't sleep. That's all I was raised. When I was 9 years old, that's what I was told, and I've always kept that in my head.
But guess what? The magic word that you said. You said, I was raised, which means someone loved you and nurtured you and imparted in you self-esteem and love. Look at the world that we live in. People are angry now.
Yeah.
They're violent now. Kids think how you handle things is with your fist. Or now, I'm sorry, that was my era.
No, it was with the gun.
Now it's just like, just to shoot them. I get in an argument with somebody and I'm going to take their life forever, and they're not going to ever live again. Because when you fight, you live to see another day.
Yeah.
So I don't even want you to live because I'm that enraged.
Yeah.
So society is, we just got a lot to work to do as a world, and this is not, I don't know, it's Windy City Underground, not political, but this is a world issue.
Oh, no, we good.
Okay, because, we got a president that spews hate.
Yeah.
We
have a 45, right? And it's sad because when he got elected, I was just like, no, this can't be right. This something, y'all gotta do a recount. There's no way. We couldn't be this. We can't be this hateful. This is just not possible.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see that the population wasn't in Board of Elections lost their mind, but but the thing was, it was never even about him. It was always about his supporters.
Right.
Because my problem with them was that you are supported by the Klan. They are nothing but hate for everyone that doesn't look like them, even though they don't know that they part black too. But that's a whole
exactly, that's the thing, right? I was just going to say, is there any pure people? Is there anything as such thing as 100% pure person? No. We have all integrated with so much inside of us. That's why those ancestral DNA things, and people are finding out that, oh my God, I'm really black, and now I'm like, and then you find black people like, oh my God, I'm really white. I say it all the time. Like, people say, like my ex-husband, his grandfather was white.
Right.
But he was a very dark complected person.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm, on the other hand, my grandfather was black. Right. So we don't know what we're intermixed with. We are an intermixed unit of people, but unfortunately, people use things to separate, so that, because hate is not, people say people are born angry. No, people are taught anger.
Yes.
You're not born angry. You don't know about anger. You are taught hate. And
yes.
And unfortunately, we are still
we're
being
still
taught hate.
Yeah.
So
and when it's at the top of the food chain, like that's what makes it so bad, is that it makes it seem like it's acceptable. Like I said, right. You guys, people elected, or the board of elections allowed someone who is a troll essentially to run the White House. Like, what? It made no sense. And then, like, everything that's going on, I'm like, they're sitting there and they're separating children and all
right.
Of that.
Like, I was just, I never, this has been, society for me, because I'm a very seasoned and vintage woman, and I've seen a lot. But I never thought that I would see children put in miniature concentration camps.
No.
In my modern day society. My greatest wish was to have a black president, and I was blessed to be able to be alive to see that come to pass, because there were a time when we would have never thought that we would ever have a 44.
No, never, never.
And to have that and to live to be a part of that, that means that it's going to happen again. But I never thought that I would see a time when babies were snatched from the arms of their mother. Because people, let's take it back. That's what we have as black people. We come from that. We come from that. That's why mothers and children cry, because I could not imagine coming across a country or to be in a entity and my baby was taken away from me at my womb and sold like a piece of meat or just like fish on a way, just because, or to be breaded. But, that's a really deep conversation. But I never thought that I would see that in my lifetime. And to see what's going on and to see so many things that's going on under 45, it's just like, I feel like America has taken a step back.
Oh, yeah. We really have, because the compassion isn't there.
The empathy.
The empathy.
Yeah.
Just basic empathy isn't there, and so it makes it harder for us to teach our children don't be mean, don't be disrespectful,
right.
Because
love everybody,
right,
because
all
loving
that goes out the window.
Yeah, because loving everybody can get your kid killed now, because your kid is trusting Johnny Come Lately, and Johnny Come Lately is a serial pedophile, or it's just like everything is cautious. Like, my son is 15 years old. I won't even let him sit in the car by himself. Wow. Like, he's 15. I'm like, you got to get out of the car. And he's like, Mom, I'm 15. I don't care if you're 90. When I go in the store, you go in the store, because I don't want to come back and for whatever strange, odd reason. I just know, let's just walk into Walmart. Yeah. Let's just go together, hand in hand.
It just makes it easier.
Yeah, safer.
You're able to be there and to protect them.
Yeah,
and it's stuff that we have to be that way now, because it wasn't like that before. You're able to leave your kid in the car for a few minutes. It wouldn't be a big deal. Now it's like, I don't know who's here.
It's like you live in fear, because I don't trust anybody, and I come, as they say, from a criminal, and I call it the criminal process, because it's not justice. That's something different.
That's what I want to ask. So, how did you get into that? Because that's a tough part. That's a hard field. It takes a person with a different kind of personality, with a different kind of spirit, and you're changing these kids' lives. You work with kids that people would claim are throwaways. And of course I know that no kid is a throwaway, but you help and change these kids' lives, and you give them something to live for, and you make them want to thrive and do better. Like, how did you get into this?
The crazy thing was, my original major was journalism, okay? Because I've always been a writer. That was my original major. I thought I was going to be the next, before there was Oprah, you wanted to be Barbara Walters, right?
Yes.
And so, but unfortunately, when I went to school, there was no women who looked like me. I wasn't black enough. I wasn't white enough. I wasn't, so they were like, and I've had teachers, unfortunately, to tell me, like, there's no place for you because no one looks like you. So I wasn't a black girl or a white girl. So I was like, what, so I was disenfranchised with a teacher, and she was just like, you're never going to be successful in this. There's no market for you. You may want to think about changing your career. And so I was like, wow, you may want to think about changing your career. And so I was at school one day. I was, filtering around, because the reality was I never thought I would see someone, but you don't have the forthright, because people, stomp on your dreams, and people always say, oh, she was racist. No, I know my teacher loved me. She was being honest with me to her best of her honesty.
Right.
And she was like, you know what, Cassandra, you're so talented, you're so smart. I don't want you to waste your career on this. I just wish that I had a stronger inner core to say, listen, whatever, I'm going to do what I want to do and pursue that, because what I would have known was that there would have been people like me, and I could have been that break cycle. Right. So, but anyway, you moved on. So I met this young man. He said, hey, this is what I do for a living. I'm like, that's cool. I think I'm going to go to school for that. So I went to school. I got my degree. And I've always I always loved children. And I've always been able to speak life into children and to have a lot of children follow me. I love teaching. And I just love children. They're so innocent. They're so happy sometimes. Sometimes. And so, I began my career. I went and got my degree in criminal justice. I work for Cook County Juvenile Detention Center. I'm a supervisor there, and I love my job. I love my job. I love my administration. I love my coworkers. I love my team, and I do know that it is a ministry. You know, because we see so much, and you know, we can't say. We know so many things, and we see so many kids, and you know, I've raised kids, you know, inside of the system, and you know, let me just say this, you know, I've seen some of the most beautiful kids that have made the mistake and did the most horrendous things. Okay, but somebody gotta love them, and somebody gotta work with them. And so while we're there and we have these young minds, we do the best. And I can speak firmly on my administration. Shouts out to Leonard Dixon and William DED, my deputy in charge, Stewart. I don't care what you guys hear about Cook County Juvenile Detention Center. I'm telling you that there is love up in that building. And my administration, we work endlessly to bring education, information, and love into those children's lives. We are the change agent. We don't talk about it because we get a bad rap all the time, but a lot of times we work hard in there. We do. You guys couldn't even imagine all the good that we do inside of there, because there's no cameras in there. We're not getting any accolades or any rewards from that. You know what? We're getting write-ups in the newspaper. However, no one is saying what we're dealing with in there. You know, while we're inside of there, we do great things. You know, for Black History last year, we turned the whole jail into. We did our thing was a different world. We turned the whole jail into colleges.
Oh,
it was so in there.
Awesome.
Listen, you walked in there, it looked like a different world. Every we call them pods. We gave them the college experience, from stepping to pledging to college applications. We made them kids feel like they were in college, and I know that we made change in there. Those kids, and we made sure they had to be educated because we made them do research on the facilities, on the HBCUs. They were all HBCUs, so I guarantee you they know what a HBCU is, because we made sure they was in there pledging. I mean, we was in there. I mean, them kids was like, I want to go to college. I'm playing Apple. I'm playing Kappa. They was in there barking. They was like, and the Qs came in, all the frats came in, and the sororities. I mean, people was like, I'm pledging Delta. People going scared. They was like, AKA. I mean, we changed those kids' perception of what college was. We didn't do it as the kids say, in a lame way. We made it, as they say, lit. And we wanted them to feel that experience, because you are what you look at every day. So instead of them waking up looking at a jail, they woke up and looked at Morehouse. They woke up and looked at Bowie, Fisk. That's what they woke up and looked at. But you know, it's going to never see that, because it's not where, you know, the media is not going to come in and look at that. They're not going to come in and see these kids doing step shows, or these kids standing up and talking about the different universities that they want to attend and why they want to attend these universities, and not only that, what they have to do to get there. No one talked about that. But anyway,
wait, no. It was funny because I was recently asked, you know, what is the main thing that I do differently from most people when it comes to radio. Did you hear what just happened? Did you hear what just happened? That's what I do differently. I'm not just gonna sit up here and be like, oh, the little mean questions, just the basic, who are you? No, I already know all that. But she's right. The media is not going to come in there and say all the positive things we're doing in this city. That's why independent radio is so important. Right. That's why independent music is so important. That's why independent television is so important, because we can tell those stories that the mainstream media cannot tell. Because you can't tell this story in 2 minutes. No, you cannot. You cannot. And the fact that she's sitting up here and talking about how she spoke life into these children, and I say it all the time: speak life into these kids. Mm-hmm. That's how things change. I was with City Air Chicago for 9 months. But in the 8 months that I was with my students, I took kids that were at kindergarten level and brought them up to second grade, third grade level. Mm-hmm. That's not easy, but But when I did it, when you saw the kids' faces, because trust me, the money was not it. But Lord have mercy. He was on a stipend. Shout out to America, but I mean, come on, y'all. Know y'all work these kids after that. But I did it because of those kids, and to see, hey China, and to see the passion that they went through. When I came back, I was hard on my kids, and you can ask every single one of them. I was hard on my kids. When I came back, they knew all those steps that I taught them. And they did them perfectly, no questions asked, had the church second and everything, because I was hard on them when I was there. So they remembered that when I left. When these kids leave this facility, they're going to remember who Cassandra Bell is. They're going to remember that team. They're going to be hitting her back up and letting her know. Let me say,
everybody know. I'm saying this strong, that's firm. Everybody know at my job, my kids love me. Everybody know that. They love Miss Bell. They love Miss Bell because Miss Bell, I'm firm, I'm fair, and consistent. You know, I have some of the best training. Cook County gives you the best training in the world. I've had I'm extensively educated in my career field, and service and community understanding of, and then to add the cherry on the top, not only am I well trained in leadership and understanding the dynamics of dealing with the juvenile mind, but I'm also a spiritual person. I'm a saved woman, so I also have spirituality and relationships to add to that. You know, our children are not to be thrown away. And what I've seen and I could, see is that the issue is simple. It's love.
Yes.
People say, kid come in, kid bugging up, sit down. They be like, all right, Miss Bell, for you, I'm gonna sit down, just for you though. Because I love them. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't scared to say, little boy, I love you. This is what you need to do. Get up, brush your teeth, do this, do this, do this. But our kids are perishing because of a lack of love. And you can't love. And I'm not blaming parents, because I say you have a lot of single mothers out there. Parenting was never meant to be a single person job. That's why it's parents. It's a plural situation. So women were never meant to be alone. They were never meant to be single mothers. No, guys. You make the baby, you stay in the situation, and you co-parent. I've seen the difference between being divorced and having a man at home every day versus me being a single mother. With my son, he a little lame kid. You know what I'm saying? But that man, without that man there, I've seen the difference with my son. Yeah. Because now his daddy's not there to regulate it. And it's not to say that I'm not doing a great job at being a parent. I'm just saying that parenting was never meant to be a one person's job. It was always meant to be a family, which is a village job, because parenting is not just mother and father. Parent is the grandmother, grandfather, the aunties, the cousins. It is a village. That's why our African American children are perishing, because we're losing that village. Yes. And they know this. That's why they tear our village up. But that's a whole nother situation. We ain't got time for that.
Oh, actually, we have we do because I've always said that, I've worked in organizing and I've worked in advocacy, so I know this for a fact. And you know this, how whenever they see something positive, all of a sudden Chicago loves my city. However, when they see something positive, what happens? What happens to the funding?
They cut it.
Yep.
Okay. And they know our kids. Listen, African American children, and I'm speaking for African American children against no other race. I'm speaking for my race, and I'm African American. I don't care how light I am. I'm black. Are arts and sports children, and the reason why is because we are creative thinkers, but we also have to be exercised. That's why recess, the cutting of recess, was terrible for schools.
Detrimental.
It was absolutely positively catatonic for schools, because our kids need to run. They need to be exercised, because that's that extra energy. So you take that energy and you balled it up, and you give me 10 minutes of rec or 15 minutes of gym, and now I haven't exercised that, and now I'm sitting over here. Guess where the energy goes? It internalizes, and now this same kid that you saying is ADD or ADHD is really a kid that just needs to be ran around the room a few times. He just got a lot of extra energy. He's hyperactive. No, he's just restless, because our children process differently. Everybody just can't. Listen, I'll tell you, you put me in a room for 8 hours, I'm gonna have ADD.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, what to do? I need something. You know what I'm saying? That's why cell phones, all of these things are designed to take away from our children and their natural ability to be great. Because you got to be, you talking about the greatest of all time. You take a kid and you give a kid everything, because I don't believe in books. If I go into a school and they have books, I have issues, because books are dated. All schools should have computers. Technology and history is present.
Yes.
So our children are living history. I don't need to go to 1989 or to 1877 or 1677. Okay, that is a history, but there are some things that our kids need to know progressively earlier. So technology should always be in schools. Kids should sit down at computers. That's why American children are the most undereducated children ever. And people say, oh, Africa, you ever talk to an African?
Ooh.
You see how educated they are? An educated African? Baby, bye. I'm just like, no. American children are undereducated. They are decades behind time, and if we want to do better, we need to get better funding into our schools. We need to bring money back to the arts. We need bring money back to family engagement. We need to bring education back to families. A lot of times when you want to know what's wrong with the cancer in the family, check the matriarch. Okay, check what's going on with the mother. Okay, we need to bring wraparound services for parenting as well. You know what I'm saying? The great thing, and I say this, the daycare center that my son went to was so family oriented that he called the lady grandma. And when he saw her, he still called her grandma. He's 15.
Wow,
he says, awesome. Grandma, we just seen her in church. He's like, grandma, but that's a difference than Miss Bell. Because family is key. So, we as blacks have to do a whole lot better in reinvesting into our families. I tell young women all the time, stop having issues with your children's father. He's more than a baby daddy. Stop having issues. The issue is not the fact if he don't love you no more, that's okay. But allow him to love his child, his seed. Because that seed is going to be what you feed it. If you don't give that seed sunshine and you give that seed nothing but shade, you finna have an angry baby. Because I look at kids and I say, if you got a baby that don't smile, check yourself.
Ooh,
church.
She said,
you got a baby that don't smile, check yourself. Yep.
Like, I don't think y'all understand what that means. When you have a child, it is your responsibility to love that child from day one and protect that child to the best of your ability, not to teach that child hate. I know when my goddaughter was born, we knew what we needed to do to make sure that she didn't end up in the situation that we were in. And people see her now, they're like, what? She's 11 years old. She speaks 3 languages fluently. The girl is Mexican and Italian, and she is amazing. Because her mom struggled when she was a teen, and so did her father, and so they made sure that was not what they were going to do for their baby.
You have to make the commitment,
and because of that, she's thriving. I'm like, she's going to be a beast when she's 15. I'm like, what do you mean you speak English, Spanish, and Latin already, girl? And play the violin. I mean, just incredible, and it's sad that people don't realize how impressionable children are. And they don't realize how smart kids are. It's not about just sit there and be quiet. That's what they want. People say that all the time. Why do you want your child to sit there and be quiet? Because I'm busy. No, you want your child to be engaged. Yes.
You have to, and that engagement doesn't start once the child is born. It really starts in the womb. How you carry a kid is if you're fussing and you're angry. What do you think that kid feels all your emotions? So when a kid is born and it's just, you're like, why the kid doesn't never stop crying? Well, what did you do all night? The kid is on your schedule. If you cursed and fussed and fought all night, now you're going to have a fussy, feisty, angry kid. You can always tell, especially when, like teachers and things like that, we can tell a kid, we're like, oh, this kid, I really had a toxic home environment. And now the kid can't function in an alkaline system because the kid is so used to being toxic. It doesn't know how to mellow out and relax. It's just used to being angry. Oh, I'm just angry all the time. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah, because you see like these parents that all sit there and like you let their 2-year-old. I'm just like, they can't even understand what you're saying. Why are you screaming at them and cursing at them? Like they
cursing them out. Oh, and like, then you give them
all the way out. I'm like, what are you doing?
And then you give them sugar. So you done cussed them out and made them high all at the same time. He's sugar drunk. So yeah, so but those are my isms, Bell isms. I have platforms, and my philanthropy is definitely in advancing the cultural life for young people. That's my platform. It's been that for years, and it will continue until I'm a ripe old lady. And and as I say, as I work toward my dream, which is simple, some people want $1 million. Because $1 million, people stop saying you want $1 million. When the taxes take it from you, it's not $1 million. So you got to say 2.5 million, so that Uncle Sam can get his money.
Okay.
But but me, I know I need 7.3 million, because my goal is to have a theater one day, and I just want to be the little old lady in a shoe with a bunch of kids just running around, and they have a safe place to play and engage themselves and create all of the wonderful and beautiful things and mastery things that kids create. So that's my retirement goal, is to have my own facility where I can be like the old lady in a shoe.
And people always say, Chicago only talks about, the reaction to violence. We're talking now about what you can do to prevent it. We're talking right now about what you can do to help this city, how we can change the narrative, start loving these kids, put money back into these community programs, put money back into the arts. Every kid can't do sports. Sorry. Put money back into the arts. Let these kids be creative and be beautiful and be great. Stop stifling these children. That's how you make an impact. That's how you change this city.
And let me also say, put money in mental health.
Please put money in mental health. For the love of God, put money in mental health.
Because we have sucked everything out, we really do need mental health. Is really needed, and it's really hard to find children therapists. That's another goal of mine. I'm in a great debate about going back to school for child psychology, because there's not a lot of them out there, and it's not a lot of them where that's taking like insurances and things like that, and it's less difficult for a place for kids to go to receive therapeutic services. So that's in the back of my mind too, as I go forth in life, because mental health is needed, because there's so much trauma out here.
Yes.
Our kids live in war zones. I mean, if I heard bullets all night, I wouldn't be able to sleep either. Man. And if I can't sleep, how I'm supposed to concentrate?
Ooh, come on.
If I get up in the morning, sure, I've been up all night. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I'm starving, but because I'm addicted to sugar, I don't want to eat a regular balanced breakfast meal. I want to just get some candy. And candy, and nutrition plays an important factor on how mentally you're able to process things cognitively. So you have all of these epidemics, because like I say this, and for anybody, because we having church on radio on Windy City Underground today.
Come on, yes.
Let me tell you something. Go shop in Mariano's and Aldi's and tell me how much your bill is, because I went in Mariano's and I bought 3 things. It was $30.
Ooh,
okay. Then I added to that. I said $70. I had 5 things in a bag, but it was all healthy and organic. So you ask yourself, you're like, wow, if I want to eat right, can I afford to eat right? Because I'm diabetic. And so I have to eat, these type of food. But yet I can go to McDonald's and get a whole lot for $5. And I'm like, do I eat this salad that's going to cost me $10, $15 at Panera? Or do I grab this McChicken meal
real quick,
and it's going to fill me up and it's, as the kids say, gooder? So, when you're trying to make healthy choices, it's difficult if I got 3 kids to feed.
Yes.
And I can't afford to eat what I probably should eat. So I'm going to go grab a quick bite at a least expensive place. And now my kids are addicted to McDonald's.
Yes.
Or some of the other food chains and things like that. It's like, no diss against McDonald's, but the artisan grilled chicken is going to cost different than the Mac chicken.
Come on.
I'm just saying, it's church today.
See, you know what? Lord, so we definitely got to have Cassandra back. She is amazing. Oh my God. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
All right. So listen, y'all, it's real simple. Cassandra Bell Studios, is my name. So it's Cassandra Bell Studios and everything. So my Instagram is Cassandra Bell Studios. My Facebook is Cassandra Bell Studios. My website is www.cassandrabellstudios.com. So all of my things is Cassandra Bell, as I say, Cassandra Bell Studios. Google me.
Yes. Google her, because she's one of them that
Google me.
Googleable. Okay.
Yes.
Sabes. Oh my God! Thank you for coming on. You're so amazing. I love you to death. Thank you for coming on my birthday show. Yeah. Oh my God!
It's your birthday!
Yes.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So awesome. You are so awesome. Hold on. Let me turn this guy around real quick. Come on now. Actually, give common sense. You gonna turn around or no? Okay. So I have to say, you guys are amazing. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I got somebody singing to me. Like, it was such a beautiful day. I got to spend time with people that I've known for like 10, 15 years. And this has just been phenomenal. I love every single one of you guys. Make sure that you guys go to bit.ly/HFL Mag. Sandy Red is on the cover of HFL magazine.
Yay!
Grab that. She just got finished on The Voice doing her thing in Chicago.
Shout out, Sandy Red.
Jake Hollins is featured as well as Silk Marchi Studios. That's Danielle Martinez and Silk Negron. And then I have my boyfriend Cali. Dope Ass Music is on there as well. So many incredible artists that are doing their thing. It's called the Breakthrough Edition. When y'all see that cover, though, when you see the cover of Sandy Red at The Voice on stage singing, the passion that came through that child.
Yeah.
Lord. Oh my gosh, she did Chicago proud.
She did.
And
Jennifer Hutt, shouts out to you for staying Chi-Town and doing the best that you can to make sure that she lasted as long as she did. You did a great job in support. So shouts out to Jennifer Hudson too. And shouts out to Stacey Gill and the squad. Stacey Gill and the squad. Shouts out to them too.
Stacey Gill's amazing. Yeah. I love her. I love her.
Breezy.
Yes, I cannot wait to see them this weekend at the World's A's Day event on Friday at Lacuna Loft. We're gonna be there. It's gonna be lit. I promise you. And it's lit for a great cause.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate everyone that has tuned in, everybody that sent the shout outs. You guys are awesome. This has been such a crazy year. Please continue to pray for my mother. This, because it's been a lot that's going on. But I do thank every single one of you. I felt so loved. And I love you all to pieces. Cassandra, you're so awesome.
You are awesome. Listen, you guys, y'all know D is just the queen of love. The thing is, what I love most about you is that you give so much you give so much of yourself. And so I owe you, because I was running, y'all. Because I'm always having double meetings. So I'm running. I'm trying to get here, make sure I get on time. But I owe you a gift because you're always giving. Listen, she gave me the most beautiful tangerine, right? Because I'm a color person. Earrings, and I have these beautiful teal ones. And so I love the jewelry. I'm I hoard it like they're diamonds. I have it in a whole case. I gotta show you my case that I have. So just shouts out for you. You are one of the angels of the city.
Thank you.
So I owe you a gift, girl.
You're
right
so
here
awesome.
on Winter City Underground.
All right, you guys. So we'll be back next week. We're gonna figure out what the guest is gonna be. Had to change some stuff around. So we'll figure all of that out and let you guys know. Make sure you guys go to www.wintercityunderground.com and see all the fabulous hosts that we have here. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat at Danaya Azure. That's DANAYAAZURE, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Danaya Designs for You, facebook.com/K First Entertainment. That's where you go pick up HFL magazine at facebook.com/Danaya Azure Radio. That's where the fabulous show is on. Alrighty, peace and blessings. Love you all. Take care. Bye. You're so awesome.
Thank you. I was running around crazy. It's my best friend's birthday today too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's Coco's birthday.
Yes, let me get on out of here.